Welcome back to Woodworking with Wes. In this segment, we're going to show you how to build a $5 router table. We're going to build one for our brand new horse and 3/4 Porter cable router that we just purchased. And so we bought us the router. Now we're going to build us a router table, and we're going to show you how you can have one just like it, $5. We're getting ready to build our router table. I just wanted to show you some of the materials. I just went over to my scrap pile, grabbed a bunch of my hardwoods, and ripped me some 2 1/4 inch strips. This piece is a little narrower, and we'll show you how we're going to use that as a fence later on. For the table part of our router table, we're going to just use a piece of 1/4 inch melamine. I like a 2-sided melamine, and I happen to have a piece of 1/4 inch wood grain melamine that is good on 2 sides, and that allows it to be a little stiffer. The 2-sided melamine is a little stiffer, and so that'll make our countertop, our tabletop. This will make our table legs, and there's our router. We'll start off by checking how high we want to have our router table, because you got to have room to work up the router underneath it. So let's make some determinations on how high we need to make our router. To determine how high we want to have our table up on our router, we want to be able to take our router in and out, change the router bits if we need to, and so we kind of got to have about that much room in order to make it work properly. We're 14, 15. Let's make it 15 inches up so that we can maneuver everything underneath it. We'll set this off to the side, and we'll make our legs out of this stock that I just ripped, and we'll make 2 legs for each side 15 inches high. Basically how we're going to do that is we'll just have a front, a back, and 2 cross pieces. So as my wife would say, a board, a board, and a board. Determined that the height of our leg needs to be 13 1/4 because it'll have 2 legs on each side and a top and a bottom for each piece, and I'll show you how we nail that together. But determining our thicknesses of our material, we need to make 4 of this size right here. So I set my stop block. We'll cut all 4 of them on the chop saw real quick. We have our legs cut. Now we need to cut our stretchers front and back on our legs, and again, like I showed, we'll show you how we do that in just a second. We're just going to try to make those about let's see how much wood we have, and let's just make it the maximum. Oh, we have enough to make our stretchers front and back. Also 15 inches. So we're going to reset our stop block at 15 inches and cut those. This piece will be our back support piece, and we're just going to leave it the length that it is, and that's how wide our router table will be right here. That will determine the width of our router table. So let's go ahead and nail our legs together, and then we'll nail on our back support piece. Then we'll be ready to mount the top. Nailing these together, just a square each one. So our stretcher top and bottom, and our legs, and each one of them will go together just like that. So let's do that now. There's the legs to our router table. Now we want to nail our stretcher across the back, our support piece across the back. Now we're just using 1.5 inch 18 gauge nails, and we're just nailing this together quick and easy. This is such an easy little router table. If you don't have room to store it, throw it out and build you another one next time. Or if you need a different size, you can build a different size next time. There's our router table, just like that. we're going to cut our top piece and mount our top piece in there like that. We're going to add some additional support, and then we're going to show you how we mount the router. So first thing let's do is let's cut the top. We want to cut our top 25 by 16. Okay, we've cut our top. It goes here. But before we put our top on, we'll set this out to the side here. We have to mount this collar to the underneath side of our router table. The router comes with a nice table or a nice flat surface to run against your work project. It's held on by 3 screws. We're going to take these 3 screws out. We're going to duplicate the 3-hole pattern on this, and this becomes our new surface to run our work on. And we'll show you how we do that now. We'll take those screws out and mount this collar to the underneath side of this. Now, like I say, we want to create the 3-hole pattern in our 1/4-inch piece here. We're going to mount it a little bit to the back. We want to be able to lock our router in place from the front side of our router table. So according to our hole pattern, we have to have one hole straight up and the other holes back. And we want to center this. Our piece is 25, so 12.5 is our center. And we just kind of want to center our router like right about there. We want to drill a hole there, and there, and there, like that. Okay, that's the first thing we'll do. Drill those holes. They have to be the size of our little screw here, and we have to countersink. If you'll notice, this piece has countersink hole here, here, and here to allow for the head of the screw to be below the surface. We'll do all of those things, and then we'll mount the flange. To make our countersink, we're going to use this bit that drills a flat bottom hole. We've already drilled our little pilot hole, so we'll just stick the point in there, and we'll just countersink with this flat bottom drill bit. There's our countersink. We've mounted our flange underneath, countersinking our screws. We've drilled a hole here in order for the bearing for our router bit to come through, and we'll show you why we did that as we mount our router. What we'll do is we'll mount our router and we'll turn the router bit up through, and the router bit will cut the actual hole that the router bit will come through. But right now we've countersunk our holes. We do that by check that by running a piece of wood, and yes, it's smooth. Now we'll mount this tabletop on our legs, just like this and like this. And we're going to mount this tabletop by just using some 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch small crown staples, and then we're going to sand this surface so that it's nice and smooth, and our router table is almost done. It's that simple. Okay, we've inserted our router back in the collar. We have a router bit in it right now, and what we're going to do is turn on the router and just turn the router into the collar, bringing the router bit through our hole and giving us the hole size we need. And so you got to hang on to it good, but this is the way we cut the hole in the top. We'll lock our router in place. then stand our router up, and there's our router table ready to go. The way we secure our router table is just by putting some screws in our legs. That's when we made these stretchers on our legs. We'll just put some screws in those legs and tie that router table down to a surface. And preferably we have a bench that's a little bit lower. This is a little high, but we'll put it right here. And as you remember, we had a little extra piece on our cutoff. We'll make that our router fence. And we can clamp that on both ends. We'll cut a little slot in here for the sawdust to go out, and we'll sand and wax this surface so that it'll be a good little fence. And we'll mount that wherever we need to, but that'll be our fence. There's our router table, screws down the tabletop, and that's it. That's how simple that $5 router table is to build. Out of scrap wood, $5. We'll see you next time on Woodworking with Wes.